What have I learned about love? Well, for starters, it's a messy drug. And there's all kinds of forms of it. Friends, family, pets. But the one we most commonly find ourselves addicted to is romance. And why is that? Could it simply be our nature or perhaps nurture or both? Does our unconditional connection to other human beings wish that we simultaneously share this experience of life together? Or are we just doing what mommy and daddy did? What our uncles and aunts taught us? Are we replicating what they had or chasing a dream that we lack? Were they the perfect example of an idea or just the blueprint on heartache? Are we fantasizing about fulfilling a fairy tale or merely trying to fill a void that was never quite occupied by an absent mother or neglectful father? Or maybe it has nothing to do with them at all. Maybe it's the thrill of it, the ups and downs of emotions, the opening of hearts and slamming of doors, the melding of minds, the roller coaster of adventure. And don't even get me started. Oh, well, you know. That spot behind his ear, that tickle on her neck, the taste of his lips, the warmth of her breath, skin to skin, soul to soul, passionate, naked, completely whole. Oh, how electrifying to see such sparks flying, to feel two worlds colliding as the universe makes space for a moment so timeless, a life so vibrant, a love so pure it's almost impossible to distinguish reality. Do you realize it's a source of reality? Our existence, the reason you and I are here, why we pick up a glass and cheer, why we clap and dance and forget our fears and just be. But hey, who am I to tell you what it is? Nothing more than a single perspective. So, I dare you, go out and try it for yourself. Find as much of it as you can and soak it up however you need to. With a partner, a companion, or on your own, but please, most of all, go out and embrace it, fight with it, lose it, then find it again, because through all that joy, abundance, and turmoil, I'm still asking myself, what have I learned about love? Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Thank y'all for weathering the weather, too, by the way. Salton Room is amazing. The downstairs is amazing. This is amazing. This is my first time up here, so thank you, guys. So while I like to start on a softer note, on a lighter note, a lot of us, I think, especially me, turn to poetry to kind of a release, depression and stuff like that. Anybody here familiar with or know people dealing with depression and anxiety? Obviously, a lot of us. Some of you have heard of it tonight. Also, shout out to the poets before me. So this next piece is called Overloaded. I tried to be tied down, but couldn't quite figure out what I really wanted out of life, so I shut down. Abandoned everybody who trusted me and tried to love me, because I couldn't bear the thought of them knowing that I was struggling, mentally, financially, and everything else in between, as pride got the best of me, tempted me, and then tested me by asking my ego what kind of evil makes her less of me, then using that knowledge with full intention to make a mess of me. Embarrassing, to say the least, having to cope with everything, on your own inside your dome, feeling like you're so alone, but never want to rock the boat, so you do your best to hold it all together till one day you explode. From emotion overload and airing out your whole soul, bearing down to the bone where you're finally exposed to be the human that you've been pursuing all along, as you hid behind a monster just so he could write some songs. Turning rights into wrongs and replacing your thoughts with a little idea that you don't belong. Like, what's the point of living when you've already given up on everybody in your life that you ever claimed to love? Well, I'll tell you what the point is. No more avoidance. Time to stand up and speak out for the voiceless, for those who feel joyless, for those who feel poisoned, for those who feel like they're trapped and have no other choices but to work and slave away, fake a smile and behave, while the money that you make goes to someone else's bank so they can live happy lives off of your efforts and your time. So you're no longer needed, then they simply cut your ties. Like a puppet, they say, fuck it, use you, and then kick your bucket as they throw you out with the bathwater like you're nothing but the bottom of a barrel. So you go and grab a barrel, making sure to grip it tight as the muzzle meets your temple, because they got you going mental, thinking that you're worthless, hoping that the metal is going to solve all your burdens, when all it's going to do is leave your loved ones hurting. So I'm here to beg you to stay determined, to live a better life, to ignore all the lies, to put down the bottle, step away from the knife, to look deep inside and try to realize that each and every single one of us deserves to survive. Thank you, guys. That piece is kind of what really kicked me into this. And I'm actually proud of the first piece, What Have I Learned About Love? Because I wrote that during like the darkest times, and I found that even during those moments, you can still somehow find a light in yourself. So yeah. While we are in Brooklyn, I don't have a piece about Brooklyn. So, y'all mind if I spit one about Manhattan? All right. This one's called Mother Manhattan. Thank you. What is it about Manhattan that attracts me to her? Is it the way she doesn't mind me calling her home? The way she is quick to give me direction, to give me guidance and grace, but also courage. The courage to be my own person while cherishing the help that I receive from strangers on street corners. The humility to embrace an unfamiliar face and smile at those who may be less fortunate. The confidence to mingle with you musicians you've never met prior to meandering about the maze that is a metropolitan masterpiece. Or could it simply be her towering gaze, her seductive frame, how she calls me out at night to play amongst all the misfits, misunderstood, and misrepresented artists of today? How she shouts my name while waiting for me to catch the train, or lights up the block so I don't feel so afraid of being alone in the city full of opportunity. Bombarded by beggars and broken dreams, fame and get-rich-quick schemes. A jungle made out of concrete but built atop the backs of the fragile and the meek. The ones willing to do the dirty work so you can keep your hands clean. The same ones strong enough to admit that they're weak. Pour their hearts out on stages like these, where we are embraced by Sultan, Room, and Voices in Power families. From Washington Heights to Houston Street, upper to lower, west to east, and everything in between is what I breathe. Because while I am bred from the beaches of Charlestown, it is the beauty of Broadway that brings me barreling back into the arms of such an industrious island, where palm trees are made from skyscrapers, sand out of sheets of snow, and country grammar is replaced with non-rotic narratives about your mother, Mother Manhattan. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for the love. Thank you for the shout-outs during that. I do got to give a shout-out to Inspired Word in the Lower East Side, Mike Geffner, because that part where I shout out the names in the venue is actually written to be embrace inspired words and New Eurekan families. So anybody who's familiar with the New Eurekan Poets Cafe as well. So, woo-woo! Yep, y'all know what's up. I love it when you come on my face. I love it when you come on my face. When you drip down my tongue like a water slide. When I lick the dirty side of you cleaner than a dinner plate before going back for seconds. No thirds. No, more like an endless course of cunnilingus where your clit is the linguist and I learn how to properly speak orgasm. How to pronounce your pleasures with my lips as they pitter-patter around the perimeter of your pussy just waiting to break you in. Like a burglar. Eager to steal your squeals and have your heels so high in the sky you'd swear that the Holy Ghost has you hog-tied to the bed like an exorcism. As you pray for me to teach you a lesson, to liberate you of your lustful ways, and to bring to light the demons that deliver an out-of-body experience like you've never had before or gone completely mad for with someone you undeniably adore, where you can't help but beg for more, beg for mercy, beg me to bend you over on all fours till you repent for your sins, for the naughty girl you've been and the nasty things you like to do to me. Like Deuteronomy, I become undoubtedly loyal to your love at your every beck and call as I fall under the spell of fidelity, obeying your utmost command to smack that ass and grab myself a handful of your forbidden fruits as I grip your peaches tighter than a freshly squeezed glass of orange juice. Because much like a Sunday serving of strawberry syrup and sweet nothings, I can't start my day without you, without nibbling down your neck, around your nipples, and past your navel as I navigate my way toward the nectar of my very own nymphomaniac. Yeah. I've been waiting to do that just because of Lou's reaction. Because he always saying all these poets be getting nasty all the I'm like, I wonder what Lou's gonna say about this one. But that still don't chop yours though. Like Rachel, your church poem, you took us to church. So yeah, give it up for her, by the way. Give it up for all the poets, but Rachel, yo, that's my girl. Thank you guys. So while I took you on that little adventure, I haven't, I haven't always been the best partner. Yeah. It's a short piece, but it's called Loved You Better. I wish I would have loved you better. I wish that I would have never lied to you, tried to hide the truth, especially after chance number 2, where you let me in, shared me with friends, believed I wouldn't do the shit again. But lo and behold, wouldn't you know, went right back to being an asshole. Taking for granted a beautiful soul, shattering the heart that made me whole, giving up everything just so I could feel like I'm at the top of the totem pole. As you watch me crash and burn, asking how I could be so absurd, wondering what it will take for me to open my mind and finally learn how to treat a woman with respect, which is what you deserve in the end. Not someone who's gonna go out of their way to make you a victim of all of their mess, make you a casualty of a train wreck, make you the saddest that you've ever been. Not even upset, just disappointed that you put your faith in anything I said. That you open your home with open arms, that you share pieces with me others harmed, that you introduced me to your whole family just so they could see how deep of a scar I would leave on their little girl, the only one willing to give the world to someone like me, the same human being who took advantage of such a remarkable queen. Yeah, that wasn't really an easy one to write. Anyway, I got 2 more for y'all. Y'all go with that? Cool. Y'all look at me like I'm the freak. Got very few friends who believe in me. Even family thinks I'm the crazy one for chasing all these outlandish dreams. But nothing new to me, always end up being the outcast with the bad attitude who's rude for spitting the truth outside of the booth. Hell, even this poem's bound to offend you. And you wonder why I stay secluded, never want to be included or invited to the party because I've become so reclusive, recursing my rhyming and refining my writing until I'm redefining what it really takes to be fighting for everything you believe in, daily battles with demons as I drown in depression, struggling to keep breathing. But you gotta keep going, no matter your omens. And doing so with nobody knowing is when your strength starts showing. Cause take it from me, I'm just another geek everybody treats like a damn disease, quarantined for standing up and speaking out and never backing down as they try to rid me of my very thoughts and beliefs. But no one's gonna stop me, not even being cocky. I just know there's only one me, no other copies. So get on board and show support for everyone who's not the norm as we sacrifice our lives to show you that there's something more to yours, where I'm always torn between being selfish and helping others. The middle of a perfect conundrum is where you're gonna find me, always unwinding the unpleasant parts of paradise that puzzle me about life and how unnecessarily complex it is to be a simple human being. I said life and how unnecessarily complex it is to be a simple human being. Thank you, guys. It feels good. It feels like home. It feels like family. And there's a lot of homies in here tonight. And thank you. I didn't feel like that for a while, and I think that's why all of us are here, and it's beautiful. Poetic Boy D, what's up, man? How you doing? Shaq. I mean, there's too many of y'all to name all in here, different word, but y'all know who you are. And I love this, man. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you, Shay. Thank you for supporting us. Thank y'all for letting us support you, and vice versa. I do have a book out called Growth. It's back there. I like to say 15, 20 if you want to be generous. All of the poems, except for that naughty one, is in the. Sorry, maybe in the future, are in this book. So yeah, see me afterwards. I got one more for y'all. When I say she, I need you all to say keeps me company. She. Keeps me company. She. Keeps me company. Awesome. We're going to do that for the first 4 lines and the very last line of the poem. In a world fairly foreign to me, but familiar to so many of its local inhabitants. She. Keeps me company. In a world which desires to easily discard me like one of its furry little 4-legged subway ferrets. She. In a world where we are both striving to be the best versions of ourselves despite all the trauma we have managed to endure over our individual lifetimes. She. Keeps me company. Even in a world where the men before me possess many of the same characteristics as my former selves, she still keeps me company. So it is without a doubt that she chooses to spare her time, share her space, and befriend a stranger just so I no longer feel insignificant in this world. Thus, one can't help but ponder. What more do I do with such kindness? Do I proceed to embrace it and embark on establishing an electrifying connection? Do I lean into the powers of procreation and pursue her as passionately as I do my own poetry? Or do I merely admire her from afar in a futile attempt to protect our hearts from the soul-wrenching agony of shattering once again? To which my conscience simply replies, I do not know. However, what I do know is this. I am thankful. I'm thankful for her compassion, her candor, and the quality of life she is so carefully crafting for herself at this very moment. I'm thankful for the peace she brings me, the pride she possesses, and the presence in which we find ourselves just moments prior to parting ways. But with all these over-elaborate adjectives and conditional statements aside, let me remind you that I am just thankful. So as the rest of these words on this page near their end, much like the few nights we've shared together, it is with the gentle caress of her hand across my beard that she keeps my cheek warm. That is to say, she keeps me company. Thank you very much, Voices of Power.